So anyhow, there you go on that. And then let me go over this real quickly on our Monday classes that are coming up. Okay, so tonight is going to be on digestive. Who came out for sleep? Yes?
Where do the boxes go?
We send them with a friend.
She takes all over the world.
Here. Would you tell us? Because I don't even know where they go. I just know I send them out.
They just go all over the world wherever they need it. It might be India, it might be China, it might be Nepal, it might be anywhere.
Operation Christmas Child, right?
Yes.
Isn't it with Samaritan's Purse?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's Samaritan's Purse organization that you can look up. You can actually track and
Yes.
No, this is helpful because
my church does it, but you can track the packages online and find out where they go eventually. But yeah, it's boys and girls, and it's Samaritan's Purse, which is by Franklin Graham, Billy Graham. So it's been around for like
forever.
I was born.
Yeah, it has been around a lot longer, you know that. And then the boxes will be like for boys and girls, and they'll be age appropriate and things like that. So I just feel like, you know, one of the things that we can do is give back to communities and give back to people. And so as much as we do a lot of learning in this room and we, you know, love the oils and get to enjoy all of them, I also feel like it's just so important to continue to always be giving to people and looking for opportunities. So to me, this is a great one. And we always have these stinking boxes and they're piling up, and so it works out really great. Thank you for asking though, Jen. I appreciate that. Okay, so digestive support tonight. And then, of course, last week we did sleep. How many people slept really good last night that came to class? Yeah, I did. I slept like a log. It was great. And then next week we're going to do emotional support. So one of the roller balls we're going to be making is called unconditional love. So if you don't love everybody, then you should come out to that one and make a roller ball. So there are days that I love everybody. There's days I'm just like, leave me alone. Right? Everybody, really? I mean, there's going to be someone else like me. Okay, so not at all. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. And so tonight is going to be on digestive support. So we're talking about creating balance and restoration. That's going to be our purpose for this evening. And then I have some guest speakers that I'm excited about. So Kenny and I are very thankful that you guys come out and get to learn and be a part of this. So we appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get in here and see what we have. Okay, so this first one that we're going to look at is the digestive system, because that's what we're going to focus on. So we've got the GI tract and a series of, can you tell me to look over this way? Okay, so the light's better this way. Okay, so the GI tract and a series of connected organs along a 30-foot pathway is responsible for chewing food, digesting, absorbing nutrients, and obviously getting rid of your waste out of your body. So that's obviously what the digestive system does, but it's so complicated. We made it look so easy when we talk about it right there. But there's so many things that it does, and it affects us in a lot of ways. So when we look here, this is so important to understand about the digestive system, is that it works with your immune system to protect the body from pathogens and invaders. So I know you're like, I did not even know that this is, you know, I don't know about you. Who took science and remember this from science? Okay, that's because you're a nurse. Of course you're going to. Yeah, exactly. But it just goes to show you that, you know, if your immune system is down, your digestive system probably needs some attention. You know, it's really true that it is our, we'll talk about this in a moment here about it being, if you've heard of it being our second brain, but this is, our gut is where we've got 70 to 80% of illnesses happening. So if we take care of it, we're going to feel a lot better. So let's go ahead and look here. We've got, this is important, I love this. So let's stop and look at this picture for just a second. If you look really closely, there are butterflies. I mean, I know it's not real, but you know, the point is, do you feel butterflies in your stomach at times? Do you sometimes get those knots in your stomach, or you get that gut feeling about a situation? So this is why it happens. Over 100 million neurons embedded in your gut oversees every aspect of digestion. And that is why your gut is like your second brain. So I'm going to read just a little bit of my notes just to give you a little more information on that, because we're talking about neurons. So what happens is those neurons are going to be lining your gut. And this is what's fascinating. There is more neurons in your gut than in your spinal cord. So so your digestive system can work without needing your brain. See, there you go. Doesn't even need your brain. So when you're flooded with emotion, the neurons react and you get that gut feeling. So the mesh-like network is known as the enteric nervous system that works really well together with the central nervous system. And so what it does is it oversees every aspect of our digestion. Okay, so that kind of gives you a little idea of how it's working together. So going back to this whole brain-gut interactions are highly connected to our emotional health. There is a proven correlation between stress, anxiety, and gut disorders such as the Crohn's disease and IBS. And so one of the topics we're going to talk about tonight is Crohn's disease in just a little bit, and that'll give you some more information how that works. So just to give you an idea how it's all connected. So we do classes on stress, we do classes on anxiety, and the reason is because it's going to affect our health. It affects our gut. You cannot separate out your emotions from your physical. They tie in, and sometimes it's hard for us to accept and process that. We go, wait, you mean the reason I'm having this emotion is because it's tied to something to do with my physical, but then that's also tied to, if anybody's been in my class where I've talked about some of the stuff that Dr. Caroline Leaf discusses, she says that, we also have these thoughts, the neuropeptides that turn into, they're thoughts that turn into neuropeptides that go into our cells and affect our DNA. So it's like, wow, there's no way we can separate these things out. It's incredible. So the bottom line, you need to get control of your emotions. You need to get control of your stress and your anxiety so that your stomach is happy. So, it all ties together. So obviously those will be some other classes that we discuss. But let's talk about digestive problems that we have. Okay, so digestive problems, we've got pain and gas and bloating. Amen, don't raise your hand. I know we've all experienced that. A lot of diarrhea going on there. Constipation for days. This is a really big issue. I have found more people that, and don't raise your hand. I don't want to see yours. But I've had more people come to me since I've been doing this business, the business side of this for the last 3 years. People go, I can't poop. I'm like, wow. And we're going to be talking about poop, more poop tonight with the other girls. But you know what? If you're not pooping, it's not good. And so it's amazing how people will go weeks at a time. And I'm sorry, let's just be frank, all that feces sitting in there, and it's got to go somewhere, and it's going to leak out into your bloodstream. So, let's see, inability to absorb nutrients, and then of course, again, back to stress and anxiety. So, one of the things we're going to talk about for just a few moments is IBS, because that is definitely one that people deal with. So the core of IBS is constipation, poor nutrition, and then again it's triggered by acute stress or loss. So as much as we want to say, we want to avoid that, but it's not. So it's all tied together. So what I did is I put up here IBS Relief. So here's an example. It's in your notes, so you'll be able to take this with you. But you've got, you can do 4 drops of frankincense, 2 drops of peppermint, and 2 drops of fennel, and 2 drops of ginger, and you can put that in a veggie cap, and you can do that 3 times per day. That's one thing that you could do. And then of course, tonight there's going to be a little more discussion about this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because my people that are going to come up, they'll share. But cleansing and rebuilding the gut. So some of the main things are Digestive soft gels, Probiotic assist, and then the whole food vitamins. And so again, we'll be talking about that more in depth tonight. Another thing, I've got a little note here in case you have IBS or you have somebody that struggles with it. This is interesting, is that it is recommended to take those oils on either internally or on the bottoms of our feet. And the reason for that is anytime you have a lot of gut issues going on, you put those oils on and all of a sudden you're finding that you have this rash. And so what's happening is the toxins are coming out of your body. Is what's taking place, because your body is one of, your organ, your skin is one of your chimneys, so it's going to come out in that way. So if that happens and you're getting a rash on your stomach and you're putting those oils on, just put them on the bottoms of your feet. Your feet are so tough, they can handle anything. So just do that and you'll still get all the great benefits because you got all your reflexology there. So again, don't worry, it's not an allergic reaction. The oils are just doing their job. They're drawing out those toxins. Okay, so we want to talk a moment about the constipation remedy here. Now, when Laura gets up, I want her to share a constipation recipe too. I think there's a Veggie Cat one that you did recently, so think about it, pull it up. But because people, even though nobody wants to raise their hand, we've all had problems pooping at some point. So the thing here is, we all secretly want to know how to do these things. So go ahead and you can see that you can get one of those little bottles there, and then you can fill it up. And these are some of the different oils that you can use to do that. And so then put that in there. These are all great, and you can spray those on. I'm going to just give you some other interesting things about digestion. Oops, I lost mine. Hold on a sec. Okay, so digestion also helps with lower back pain. So this is so fascinating. I remember hearing Dr. Susan Lawton talk about this, is that if you've got lower back pain, there's a good chance that you need to go to the bathroom. There's constipation going on. So if you go ahead and you do something like this, you put it on your stomach and you have that bowel movement, all that pain is going to go away, because a lot of times that's that long-term constipation going on, just sitting there. And so what happens is, if you got lower back pain, you may have a colon buildup. So, you want to get that out. So what happens is our intestines are going to expand to accommodate that we're not going to the bathroom. So, I mean, where's your poop going to go? It's just going to keep expanding and pressing on your lower back, and then, of course, pressing on your nerves, so that you feel like, things are going through. So that's what's happening there. So again, it goes back to, having a lot of stress taking place as well. And what happens is that the wall is going to build up, it's going to push back as the area fills up, and then it presses into the nerve, and obviously the sciatic, that's another problem that we have. So if you do a cleanse, you can get a lot of relief from that. It's going to help. And then there's not going to be any more pain. And then the other thing you want to do with that is you want to keep drinking water regularly. And then also another thing that I don't know if we're talking about it tonight. We're doing GX. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So we'll be talking a little bit more about GX in just a second. So the other thing too, I remember hearing Dr. Hill talk about this one time. He said that people had reported to him that they had really good success with this blend for ulcers, for people that are trying to heal an ulcer, okay? So if that is something that you have issues with, you can see up here, you can get one of those veggie caps. doTERRA sells veggie caps. It's like $4, and it's great to have. And you can put oregano and lemongrass and digestion in there. Take it 3 to 4 times daily. So here's the key with those particular oils. They are going to help balance out the pylori. So it's a type of bacteria. That bacteria is what they discovered causes ulcers. So you want to treat the bacteria to treat the ulcer. And then, of course, use all your oils that help you not have anxiety and make you feel great. So it'll all go great hand in hand. One more protocol, if you're taking notes for this particular situation here, you can do, instead in your veggie cap, you can do 3 drops of Digestin and 3 drops of frankincense. So you can put that in a veggie cap. Or you can even make a tea. Make a tea and put a drop of the Digestin and the frankin. Okay, so those are just some different things as far as that goes. Then, obviously, there's so many more things that we could talk about, but I'm going to have my people get up and share it as well. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with right now is balance and restoration. So this is the purpose tonight. I want you to really see that you need to start with good nutrition. Obviously, you need to eliminate your waste and your toxins, because if you don't, they're going to make you sick. Of course, you can use essential oils that are going to help remove all those harmful bacteria. Another great one that we'll talk a little bit more detail tonight is going to be the probiotic. And in fact, we'll pass this one around now. But you can see that probiotic up there is going to encourage the growth of good bacteria, and it's also going to replenish, all the live streams of helpful bacteria as well. So, in fact, I'm going to open one up, and I'm going to pass this one around. I always say this, when I pass this one around, it's double capsulated. So that first part is going to be dissolved in the stomach, and then the second part goes into the intestines. That's what's key. You need to get the second part into the intestines. A lot of probiotics don't deal with the intestines because they're all in the stomach and that's it. But our problems are in our intestines that we need to deal with. So when you look at this, again, the last person that looks at this, you can either take it or dump it in the garbage. Just kidding. I don't really take it. That'd be kind of gross. I mean, you do whatever you want. I'm not gonna. There you go. So we'll pass that around, and then Laura's gonna be, and probably Audrey will be talking a little bit more about that as well.
Can I just say that I'm glad, like last week you said, let's sleep, and then we said, you know, I had to tag myself. I'm glad you didn't say this week, let's poop, and then it says with Kenny Wahlberg. That would have been really, I wouldn't have liked that. So I'm glad the title wasn't let's poop.
Let's poop with Kenny Wahlberg.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
I know. I think it works for me. So, that's all good.
I think my kids want to do that for some weird reason. They always are in the bathroom wherever I am. I just don't get that.
I love it. Also, the other thing too is for Facebook. If you guys, as you're part of this, if you've got like a comment about something that you've used, or you want to tell us about your poop stories, that's fine too. But we'll take anything. But before we jump into the next section about the digestive, is there anybody that has a testimony that they've used something to help them with their digestive? Whether it be pooping and constipation, or whether it be a tummy that you got food poisoning or anything like that. Yes.
Oh yeah. It happened with her. No, it was convention. I had food poisoning the first night.
That's right.
Horrible. So what I did is, I could feel the gut tighten up and stuff. So I was rubbing digestive oil on my stomach. And it was like you get relief, but you're just it's coming in waves. You're just kind of feeling the waves of the cramping. And so I brought my Terrazyme, which is amazing supplement. I have used other enzymes over the years because I'm lactose intolerant. So I took 3, which is the full dose, because it says 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. So I took 3, did more of that, and literally was able to go to the bathroom and was good and took care of it within 30 minutes versus 5 hours of constant pain. And because I was ready getting like the sweats, like I was ready in that kind of rocking back and forth fetal position, like oh my gosh. But the moment I actually took the Terrazyme, that's what.
Oh yeah. So they're both going to talk about Terrazyme tonight, but I will definitely say Terrazyme. I ate clam chowder one time, and it was going to kill my tummy because that's a lot of milk for me to take in. I took Terrazyme, and like 2 or 3 of them, I felt fantastic. So yeah, that Terrazyme is amazing. Anybody else have a testimony of using an oil or a supplement to help them with any tummy issues? Anyone over here? Yes. Go ahead.
That's how I got into doTERRA's. I went to a friend's for dinner and we had a huge spaghetti feast and everybody brought a little bit of pasta.
It's those potlucks.
So anyway, I overindulged.
Yes.
And my stomach was hurting and he brought out the Digestive, and I said, yeah, right, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And another gal also overate. So we both did it, and about 10 minutes later, we're looking at each other. Okay, is it psychosomatic or? Yeah, right after that.
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, and I love the digestion because it's got ginger and fennel, and yeah, it's fabulous. So we'll pass that around in a few moments, just so you guys can start to smell that. Anybody else use digestion and have an awesome testimony from it? Yeah.
So I tried something today, and I like having coffee in the morning, but a lot of time coffee really upsets my stomach.
Yeah.
And so I put a couple drops of peppermint. Not only was it amazing, but I didn't have a stomach ache. Yeah. So it was really cool.
I know, isn't it nice how quickly? Just like in seconds. It's wonderful. So let's go ahead and pass out the digestion then, so you guys can smell it. And if somebody really does have a tummy ache right now, you just, slap some of that on and all the good. And this is the one that somebody's going to win tonight too. So, okay, so let's pass this around over here. Try to get this to you. We'll pass it around. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead while we're doing that. You guys are smelling it and all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and have, I'm very excited to have Laura, my friend, come up. Laura and I have known each other for, I would think, about 10 years. That sound right? 8, 9, 10 years, a long time. And we actually met, believe it or not, before we did essential oils together. We actually met because we had French exchange students. I think that was our initial, and then we found out that we both homeschooled, so we were a little crazy because that takes a little right there. And then somehow or another, a few years ago, because we've always kept in contact and always just been, friends beyond Facebook. It's important to be friends with people beyond Facebook. There really is a world out there. And so we just always keep in touch with different things we were doing. And so when I got into the oils, we just started talking about them because we love just stuff for our family. We love to, just do healthy things. Well, here's the thing, is that Laura knows a lot about oils. She knows a lot about health. And the one thing I really appreciate about Laura is that she will go and do the research. So it's like she'll go in and she'll check with homeopathics, and it's like, she's like a bulldog. She's like, I will not stop until I get the answer and I'm satisfied and I get results. And that's what I really appreciate. And so a lot of times I will go to her and I'll say, hey, I know you've done some study on this, and I put some notes in, but I know your notes are better than my notes. So could you tell me a little bit about how Dr. Hill said that? Because I totally did not get it. And she's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then she's super humble about it. I'm like, girl, that was like a piece of work there. It was so difficult. So I love that she can really break it down. So she's going to be sharing tonight and her own testimony and with dealing with Crohn's. And so that might be something that you can relate to, or you have a friend that you'll be able to help with. So I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you.
And it's the
Very nice.
push button down.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so since Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie, that was very kind. She mentioned earlier about my testimony with constipation. It was not mine, I swear. It wasn't me. It was my mom. Thanks. Come on, Mom, back me up on Facebook, but she's probably sleeping. But this is my first line of defense with everything, this Modern Essentials book. I go to this no matter what, first thing. And so I just looked it up in here. There are a ton of oils for constipation. You just look under Digestive Support or Digestive System. And so for my mom, we used lemon, digestive blend, marjoram, and rosemary. And so I just told her that's the first thing she needs to take in the morning before her coffee. Oh, sorry. I'll let you have that.
Oh, now you're
Yeah.
breaking our stuff.
I know, I'm breaking it. That's it. But yeah, so that was it. And first thing in the morning, I did 3 times a day for her. And within 2 days, she was like, oh my gosh, I just feel so much better. And I was really happy for her. So that was really great. Sorry, Kenny.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I got it. It's very
I
slow.
put forgive diffuse in, so it's
Oh,
diffuse.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you,
There you
dear.
go.
It's a great way to start off by breaking stuff. All right, my husband would not be surprised. All right, so what is Crohn's? Do we have that? There we go. Anybody familiar with Crohn's in here? No? Yeah? All right, good times. Good times. All right, so what is Crohn's? It is an inflammatory bowel disease that causes inflammation in the digestive tract. Crohn's may present with ulcers in the intestines, and common symptoms include the abdominal cramps, fatigue, joint pain, loss of blood, severe diarrhea, and weight loss. All fun stuff, right? So what causes Crohn's? It's currently believed to be an autoimmune dysfunction or disorder. You can have a family history of it, or long-term use of medications and even stress, poor diet, hereditary factors, all that stuff can be causes too. My family didn't have any history of it, so the doctors were really shocked that we have nothing in our family to do it. Not surprising for me, I was always the anomaly for my family, so I had to be special and come up with something new for us to learn about. So that's currently the belief that it's a disorder, autoimmune. However, Case Western Reserve University study found abnormal immune response to normal bacteria. So this just recently came up, and I really think that this is going to be very beneficial for a lot of the researchers and scientists out there because, as Stephanie just touched on too, bacteria in our gut, there's the good bacteria, there's the bad bacteria, and that bad bacteria is just it's just wreaking havoc on us, and we're feeding it with our horrible diets. In this recent study at Case Western University, this doctor, he spent his entire career, I went and looked him up, I did my research, and I did look him up. He really has spent his entire career studying medically important fungi such as Candida, Aspergillus, is that right? Aspergillus? And some other fun names of fungi. So the major causes of fungal infections come from these fungi, and we get it in our intestines. And so this doctor says that patients with Crohn's have abnormal immune responses to bacteria, which inhibit the intestines of all people. These bacteria fuse together when they're all having a party in there. They all fuse together with the fungi, and they also normally present in people and could lead to symptoms. Of the patient samples taken, when all three of the fungi that were present, one of them being E. coli, and two other fungi that I can't pronounce, they were found in significantly higher numbers of patients with Crohn's than patients without. So researchers also found that lower levels of beneficial bacteria reside in patients with bowel conditions. So it's really important to feed your gut good bacteria, the good stuff. So of course, how do we get that stuff, right? So one of the things to remember is the gut is the silent voice. The gut is connected to the emotional limbic system. They speak with each other to make decisions, and the gut is responsible for secreting enzymes and hormones. And so I got this information from a TED Talk I watched with Herbert Watsky, and he did this TED Talk about how the brain in your gut. So Stephanie was touching on how your gut is your second brain, and that's what this TED Talk was about, how the same thing, that it's like another brain in here, because like Stephanie was saying also, all the neurons, and there's hundreds of millions of neurons in there that are doing all this work. Remember, they're responsible for the food, the enzymes, the hormones, all that stuff going on in there. So if you've got the bad bacteria and the fungi and they're all having a party and they're not supposed to be, then we need to fix that, and that's why cleansing and all that other stuff is really important too. But when the gut's not healthy, it's not working, and then everything else is just going to get all wonky. So you definitely want to make sure you're taking care of your gut. So I remember when I was diagnosed with Crohn's, it was really overwhelming for me because, one, I wasn't familiar with it. I was all of, I think, 27, 28 at the time. Never heard of it before. Had no issues, like I said, in my family of it, so I didn't even know where to start. But do your research. Support your intestinal fortitude, was my brother's saying. You really have to be your biggest advocate, because unfortunately in my story, I got nowhere with my GI doctor. I saw this doctor for months. I mean, months and months and months. I couldn't even work anymore. I'm almost 130 pounds right now, and at that time I was 110 pounds and I couldn't even cycle. So I was a mess. I was on the couch all day, couldn't work, couldn't do anything, and my best friend was in my bathroom. So I'll just be honest, that's his word. But it's so debilitating because the pain is so awful that you can't read, you can't watch TV, you can't do anything. You tend to feel hopeless. And because I wasn't getting anywhere with my doctor, I checked myself into the hospital. I wasn't by my doctor saying you need to go. It was me. I need help. My husband can't do anything for me. The medicines weren't doing anything for me, and I was just wasting away. I couldn't eat. So I checked myself into the hospital. I needed IV fluids. I couldn't do anything. So that's when they had to do a colonoscopy. My favorite part was when they came in to give me the prep. They're like, well, you're going to have to do this. I go, I don't think I've eaten in a week. And all I do is have that abdominal pain to go. So there's nothing there. I don't think I need to do the prep, but you'll be good. There's nothing in there. I promise. But yeah, so that's when they did the colonoscopy and I was diagnosed with Crohn's. And then that was my next favorite part, is when the GI doctor at the hospital came in and said, well, the best thing for you right now is to get pregnant. I can't cycle, so yeah. I'll get right on that though. But yeah, it was just, so do your research. Be your biggest advocate, because this was when I found out about a medication that was actually being used for rheumatoid arthritis. They were trying on Crohn's patients. Again, I couldn't get anywhere with my GI doctor, so the only thing I could do was go into the GI clinic and wait for the next on-call doctor, which took about 3 hours, which for a Crohn's patients is like 3 years in the waiting room. But I spent all of 10 minutes with this doctor. I'm not even exaggerating, 10 minutes explaining my situation really quick. And he approved it. He sent me right to the infusion lab, and I started that day. So, I mean, it's really, that's the difference between, you know, how they always say get a second opinion, and I really wish I had gotten a second opinion long before that point of being so desperate. But I started then, and it actually did work within a couple of infusions, and I was feeling a lot better. I started gaining weight again, and then, you know, 2 kids later, unfortunately, after 2 kids, I did relapse, and I tried to go back on the infusion medication, but your body builds up antibodies to it. So I had an allergic reaction, and I couldn't do that anymore. Again, this is where your research comes in. I've also started researching again online because now I couldn't do the infusion anymore, and now my other options were steroids and these other medications that had these horrible side effects. But through research, I found out that there was a local GI place here, a doctor's office, that was running a clinical study on Crohn's patients using apheresis. So it's kind of like a dialysis where both arms are hooked up and your blood's taken out of one arm and it cycles through a machine and then it comes back in the other arm. But it was great because there were no drugs, no side effects, nothing. So that was awesome, and that worked beautifully. So yeah, so research. Be your own best advocate and really fight for yourself, because there is nobody that's going to fight as hard for you than you are. So yeah, definitely do your own research. All right, so supporting your intestinal fortitude. So diet. Diet is always the best way to go, but for Crohn's patients, this isn't so black and white. Sorry, I'll change that. Because diet for Crohn's patients is really difficult. Because just like with medicines and oils, what works for you may not work for me. And the same idea in Crohn's, what sets me off of my Crohn's and gives me pain and stuff is going to be different for everyone. So it's not just, you know, a set list. I could eat Taco Bell for days and be fine and have no problem, but you give me a salad and you're going to send me to the bathroom for the rest of the day. So it's really wonky like that. So the best thing that I can recommend for folks that are dealing with this is to keep a journal. Just keep a food journal, and then you just start making notes of everything that starts bothering you. And then you can go back and reference that, because if you ever forget, it's a real bummer. Oh, okay, I need to go back and reference that. But yeah, just keep a food journal, and it's so helpful to really start narrowing down. Lots of fruits and vegetables. I mean, you think, oh, I'm going to have to go on this really healthy diet. Well, you can, but you're going to have to do small amounts. Right? I knocked myself out for Christmas Day one time because it was a beautiful day out. We thought we'd go to the park, have some fun with the kids. I was peeling mandarins like candy for the kids, and one for me, one for them, one for me, one for them, and I couldn't spend the rest of the Christmas Day with them. So yeah, it's really important to know what sets you off. So high calorie diets, low fat, low salt, lactose free, low fiber. And the reason why they say low fiber for Crohn's patients is because you don't want it working too hard. Anything that gets it to have to work too hard is when you're going to start the abdominal pains, you're going to start that cramping, you're going to start it's just no fun. So like for me, lettuce is just a huge no-no. So yeah, lots of beans and stuff, not good. But you know, in small amounts you can do okay. So really, just like I said, track it and get to know what sets you off. So adding lemon and orange in your water to help support your liver and kidney functions. You got to get those working really well for yourself as well. So those are 2 great oils. Always be drinking those in your water, and you can really help your digestive system that way as well. And then, of course, increase your probiotic, because you want the good bacteria in your gut. You want to feed it the good stuff. You don't want the bad guys having a party in there. You want the good guys having a party in there, and you want to be, have them kicking out the bad guys. So good probiotic is a great way to promote the growth of healthy bacteria. And I will also, a little side note from this for folks that have really sensitive tummies, if this probiotic, if you try it and it doesn't work, and you experience abdominal cramping and stuff, and I'll be honest, I did with this one, you get the probiotic for the kids that comes in the packet. Beautiful, works perfectly. It's fantastic, and it's yummier than this
And
one.
how much can you take of either one?
I believe this one, the probiotic, the PD Assist, is 1 a day. It's one of the
Could you have to clarify, but how about for you, someone having Crohn's?
It's really you kind of have to case by case. It's not set. Yeah, but the probiotic for kids is 1 a day. Yeah, that one I do know.
Is it the pixie stick one or the?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
not
the candy one.
The candy one.
Yeah, so that
Okay.
one's not hard to take that one. Okay. So Terrazyme. Terrazyme is another great product for folks dealing with Crohn's. This one has just been a lifesaver for me because when I did used to experience the bloating and the cramping and stuff that you would get after eating, like it would be going out to eat would be kind of scary sometimes because you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't want to be the one going, no, it's okay, I don't want anything. No, really, I'm good. But Terrazyme has fixed that. It's been fantastic. So I can take 1 or 2 with meals, and it's that natural enzyme in there that helps to break down foods, and so your stomach and your intestines don't have to work so hard to do it. It does it. Remember the oatmeal? Make your oatmeal, make it really thick, make like a cement paste oatmeal, and bust open the caps of the Terrazyme and drop it in the oatmeal, and you can stir it, and you get to see what it's doing in your stomach. You just keep stirring that paste, and as you keep stirring it, you're going to see it's going to start to liquefy, and it's amazing. It's really, and that's what it's doing in your stomach. So your stomach doesn't have to work so hard to break down the food. So Terrazyme has just been a phenomenal supplement to add for tummy troubles. So the next best thing as well is you want to make sure you have a really great foundation for your health, because when you have a great foundation for everything else will start to work as well. So the vitamins, the omegas, and the whole food supplement, that's a really great way to do it. And the omegas, they help to fight inflammation, so we need that. And then the multivitamin we need because unfortunately with Crohn's patients, in your digestive system, we miss a lot of the vitamins and minerals that we eat because our body is just not able to process it. So if you can eat that big beautiful salad with all the wonderful vegetables in it, you're not getting as many of the vitamins out of there because your digestive system just doesn't work as normally as it should. So it's really important to supplement with a whole food vitamin to make sure you get replenish those vitamins as well. So some other oils that are really great to help with Crohn's, you have Digestive, frankincense, lemongrass, ginger, peppermint, fennel, coriander, cardamom, and orange. So this is all in your notes. But I'll just tell you the reason why they chose these, and you can look in the Modern Essentials book as well. But the reason why these are here is again because of that bacteria. Remember we were talking about the fungi. Digestin is a blend of a lot of those oils that are really great for an antifungal. So it has the oils in there to get rid of the bad stuff in there. It's also an anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic. You know, when you get those cramps, Digestin's really great for that. And it's an antiviral. Fennel, it's an anti-parasitic. So when you're dealing with stuff like that in your gut, and if your intestines aren't working properly, the bad fungi in there are going to be able to thrive and grow. So having oils like this in your arsenal is really great to battle all that. So anti-parasitic, antispasmodic for the fennel, coriander is antifungal, cardamom, anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic. It's also really great for digestive support. And orange is also really great for cleansing and an antispasmodic as well. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. So there's another great method. Anybody familiar with Symphony of the Cells? I didn't, yeah. Such a great book. If you don't have it, I really highly recommend it. I'm sorry I didn't bring it. Do you have a copy of it here?
an old one. You have the new one.
Oh, that's okay. It's a really small book, so you don't have to be overwhelmed with a lot of reading, because there isn't a lot of reading. It's just the protocols that are in there for lots of different ailments that you could have. So one of the protocols in there is for digestive support. And so this here in your notes is the protocol for digestive support. And it's a really simple, easy thing to do where you're just layering the oils down the spine and then on the feet. So it's not like you're in for an hour-long massage or something like that. It's quick, it's easy, and you'll be so happy that you did it. And if you can't get to your back, if you don't have someone to help you with your back, just do your feet, and it works just as well. I do the anti-inflammatory protocol with my daughter when she has her issues, and she's out by the time I get to because you see there's just oil. All I'm doing is I'm just layering it on her feet. We're not talking, soap operas and stuff. I just layer those, and she's usually out by the time I get to the last. She's sleeping. Let me be clear what I'm referring to. She's sleeping. She's asleep by the time I get to the last oil. So just be careful if you're using a hot oil, though, too. If you're layering on your spine, you want to dilute with the carrier oil. Just use a little bit more of it. So here are the resources in case you really want to take a look at that. I mentioned the apheresis that I did, and that was a clinical study. I was really lucky to be able to get in on that. Unfortunately, the results of that study did not prove that it was worthy of it to become a mainstream thing. However, there's a link here that talks a bit more about that one, and then there's also a link, I believe that's on there. Yes. No. Well, anyway, you can research and find out ways that you can get involved in clinical studies, and if you don't mind being a guinea pig, then that's kind of a good way to find new ways to help yourselves out. So thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. That was such good information. And also because here's the thing too, when we do these notes and stuff, we make it like, oh, this is so simple and so breezy and all that, but it's a lot of work to put all this together. So I actually have an oil that I'm giving to, oh, you have a question for her or for me?
For you, can you put this slide on the Facebook page so we can actually click on the link?
I actually put all of the slides in the very first comment.
Okay,
So
perfect.
yeah, first comment has all of the slides.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So anyhow, so I am actually, as a thank you, giving Laura On Guard because of our time when we went to Ohio, and she would use it for her sore throat and go. And I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. So this is your little On Guard for your purse. So when you have your little sore throat, you can throw it back there. So and it's really great. She talks about the symphony of the cells. I'm going to give you one quick testimony, and then I'm going to have our next guest come up. But my daughter, one time we went on vacation, and she got food poisoning because we went to Jack in the Box, and it's just like, I don't know, they spit in the food, I don't know what they do, but anyhow, in case you've ever ordered fast food, bless fast food. Seriously. So she was sick, and I was like, how are we going to start off? And I didn't know where to run to the store, but thank goodness I had my oils, and I had that whole list for Symphony of the Cells. They have one for digestive. So I went ahead, and I gave her a couple oils at each, and I had her put it on her tummy, and I say, go get in the bath, because, that water, it's going to drive it further in. 10 minutes later, she comes out, and she goes, I feel great. She goes, I threw up, I had diarrhea, and it's gone. And that's what you want. You want it out of your system. So I'm like, yay, the rest of our vacation was great. So anyhow, all that to be said. So now, my next guest, okay, so Audrey and I, you can come up here. Audrey and I have been friends since 5th grade. So we've known each other a long time. We grew up in Cameron Park, Shingle Springs, that area together. And she actually does give massages. So I'm listening to Laura and I'm like, hello, she gives these, okay? So I don't know, do you still go around to places or only stay up in Colfax?
Thankfully, I only have to go to my office, which is 2 miles away from my home.
Yes.
I used to commute and teach down here in Roseville, middle school math and science. And
Okay.
yeah, that was a different time.
Okay. So here's the thing. You got to go up to Colfax, but it's well worth it because she does oils. So it's fantastic because you'll be able to go up there. She uses oils on her clients, and then the great thing is, and both Laura and Audrey do the business side. Audrey didn't even know there was a business side because I just don't really talk about it a lot, but there is that side of it. She goes, wait, my arms are getting tired from all this massaging. You mean I can do something else? I'm like, yeah.
Clients.
Oh, you do have clients, but that's okay because she's listen, she's not leaving that practice for a long time, so you don't have to worry. And then if you're her favorite clients, if she likes you really well, she'll probably afterwards come to your house and service you, and I am sure all kinds of things. I have created a whole bunch more work for her. No, but she does both, and that's the thing that I love about Audrey. She just, well, obviously redheads are wonderful, and she never stops. She's always been a go-getter as long as I've ever known her, and everything that she's done, she's always excelled in everything, and always been a blessing to the people around her, and always, not to embarrass you, but in high school, it was great. It was like, if you need a smile, Audrey would always give it. She was, yeah, you didn't know about that. You probably made her cry. I had the microphone, I can say what I want, and it's true, so I don't lie. So I always appreciated that about Audrey, you know, for all the years of knowing her and stuff. So, but here's the thing, she has so much knowledge because of her background, you know, with massage and all, she has to study for that, and then she's been a school teacher in the area, so and also just her own journey with celiac, so she's going to share about that, so I'm going to pass it over to you, and I'm going to switch you up so you're ready to go.
Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie has been a joy in my life. From moving out to the woods, the foothills, and literally taking the clippers and making little rooms in the manzanita. You know, I had to walk a mile almost to her house. But she's been a joy. She's always so passionate about what she loves to do. I think we had newspaper together. Not a lot of classes in high school, but newspaper, I was like, touch and go. Hi, how you doing? We need some help with that article. But just great energy with Stephanie. I'm blessed to have you in my life still. So let's talk about some digestive disorders. Celiac runs in my family. I am not officially diagnosed with it, but somebody immediate to me has been. What is it? It really is just a very specific area of our digestive system. It's inflammation of the villi, in our tissues in the small intestine. Okay, so the only condition that will trigger that is gluten. If you don't eat gluten in your diet, you may not know you have it if you don't have the symptoms. Okay, so it's that easy. Eliminate the gluten and you could be fine.
Yeah, nope, just go back.
I did it. Okay. Oh yeah, 2 parts. I knew. So who has celiac disease? It's really just come about in the last couple of decades. They didn't know what it was, and a lot of people probably died from it. But then also our diets have changed. Our wheat has changed. Our barley and our rye has changed. So those are the 3 grains that contain gluten. There are whole families of grains that don't contain gluten, but these are the 3 grains. And as Stephanie has shared before, grains are inflammatory to our systems. So, you know, you don't want to eat a lot of grains all the time, but this is the grain that can be inflammatory. So, who has it? 1 in 100 people worldwide. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a lot. And when we know more about it, we're able to diagnose it easily and take care of those people. So if you have an immediate family member with celiac disease, you have a 1 in 10 chance of developing it. Some children are born with it, some develop it in childhood. One of the biggest things that is indicative of having celiacs is the lack of growth. So if there's stunted growth, tummy issues, get checked, okay? Also there's triggers for adult onset too. So some of the diagnosis issues that we have is that a patient may present with no symptoms or vague symptoms. They don't even know how to describe. One of my immediate family members was going through medical school and just thought it was a stress, the long hours of medical school. And so what did they do? They ended up giving her these big iron horse pills because she was low on iron, deficient in all these other things, until she finally was diagnosed, I guess about 5 years ago, as an adult. So she didn't have it as a child. I do remember Mom saying, in the 80s, you're going to eat your whole wheat bread, you're going to eat that whole sandwich. And oh, she would come home with a tummy ache all the time. But yeah, it was rough because it was so healthy. I had a healthy mama back then. She was just doing her best. So the symptoms often are just really vague, fatigue, until the deficiencies start showing up. and then the patient doesn't go to the doctor because they don't know what it is. A lot of the times the doctors didn't know either. So immunoglobulin A, IgA. Oh, it doesn't show up there. Okay, yeah, in my notes. When that is deficient, there's a blood test that's available for that, but the endoscopy is really the only true way to diagnose it. So you have to be eating gluten, and then you go in for the endoscopy. They put the scope down the throat and look at the villi to see if they're up and alive and happy, or if they're flat, okay? And if they're flat, they're not absorbing anything. All right, so what is gluten? I said before, it is just a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Beware of the hidden sources. When in doubt, do without. Only buy certified gluten-free. There's a huge issue with the Cheerios, the Honey Nut Cheerios. They said it was gluten-free. Everybody went and started buying it. A lot of people came down with symptoms and stomach aches and issues, and unfortunately that happened in our household too. So, still looking for standards of perfection. There's a lot of hidden sources, unless it's labeled certified gluten-free, that you want to be aware of. Wheat berries beer, unless it's gluten-free beer. I don't drink beer. Kamut, durum, granola with oats. Be careful of the oats. A lot of times it's cross-contamination on the machinery that processes those grains. One big grain field, lots of different crops going through. Einkorn wheat, wheat starch, emmer, buckwheat, triticale, semolina, pasta breads and croutons. Get those salads without the croutons, or bring your own, and brewer's yeast. Sorry, that was that one.
Yeah, they're both.
All right, and then some others are spelt, brown rice syrup, because it has the barley enzymes in it. Farina, graham, sauces and gravies are a huge one, especially with the season of the holidays coming up. Everybody loves sauces and gravies, so there are so many more choices, even at Safeway, of gluten-free sauces and gravies. Or just make your own. You know, some of the gluten-free flour, a little bit of that. In your gravies, the juice of the meats is great. Vinegar and flavorings. Dextrose is a big one. Some recipes or ingredients list dextrose made from corn. That'll be okay. But if it just says dextrose, I would do without. Naturally flavoring is a big one that they can hide the gluten in. Caramel coloring, soy sauce. Thank goodness there's gluten-free tamari sauce that you can buy at Safeway and Rayleigh's and Bel Air. Imitation seafood. I was so upset. Not that I go for that a lot, because we're living here in California and the coast is only 3 hours away. Bacon, processed lunch meats. All bacon has all of those, the flavorings, the smoke flavor, all of those are often contaminated. I hate to say it, I'm sorry. We're all gonna have to start our own farms. All right, so, and avoid cross-contamination when you go out to eat. The French fries in the fryer, they also throw in the chicken nuggets in the same fryer, so ask. Cutting boards at home, the toaster, I have my own toaster. Be careful of your things that you put in the oven too. So what happens when gluten is consumed? So villi, this is our little anatomy lesson. Everybody hold up their fingers. Your villi is in your small intestine. So you have the esophagus, it goes into the stomach, and then you have like this 2-inch tube that's about 20 feet long that goes zoom, 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 and it's full of all these little villi, okay? And if you think of a shag rug that is rolled up and all those villi are inside touching it, that's what's moving through. All the food is moving through there. It's already been hit with the acids in the stomach, so when it goes through this part, it's supposed to be broken down a little bit more and then absorbed. So hold up your villi. Everybody hold up their villi. This is what you get when you have a middle school teacher coming in. Here's my source of gluten. So coming through the stomach, hold your villi up. When we eat this, this is a flour tortilla. So as I come by you, have your fingers go flat. All of you have been exposed. Fingers go flat, fingers go down. Yep, perfect. Fingers go down, fingers flat, all in the back. Fingers are flat. Now, it's going to take 1 or 2 weeks for you to recover from chronic gluten exposure. That kind of exposure, eating that, causes it to lay flat. And it's not the tips of the villi that absorb, it's actually the sides. The sides of the villi is where you absorb your nutrients. Okay? Thank you. Round of applause. Good job, you guys. So some of the symptoms are fatty floating stools, because if it's not absorbing the fat, it's going to go through and go up your colon. Diarrhea is another one. Iron deficiency, which is also known as anemia. Osteoporosis and osteopenia, just a thinning of the bones. Infertility and miscarriage, because you don't have the fat content, so your body's not able to produce life and carry life. Lactose intolerance and vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And what else happens when gluten is consumed? Here are some of the vague symptoms that people might not know to pinpoint or to bring up with their doctor. So central and peripheral nervous system disorders, ataxia, epileptic seizures, dementia, migraines, neuropathy and myopathy, means pain in the nerves or pain in the muscles, pancreatic insufficiency in 5% of celiac cases, and gallbladder malfunction. I wish I had known about that 3 years ago, because I don't have a gallbladder anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. So what else happens? Malignancies, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, intestinal and extraintestinal, B and T cell types, small intestinal adenocarcinoma, esophageal adenocarcinoma, and the papillary thyroid cancer is 8 times greater. So there's some other things that go along with celiac disease. And the 2013 study, Dr. Joseph Murray of CDF Medical Advisory Board revealed that 13 of 19 celiac patients did not respond to the hepatitis B inoculation. So there's less responsiveness to hepatitis B. And the 2010 study also showed in Turkey revealed that non-response of celiac patients was 32.5% compared to 14% of the control group. Okay.
One more.
Thanks. All right. And now, so when your body isn't absorbing the nutrients that it should, you know that other things are going to start shutting down. That's going to cause other deficiencies. And here are some other things that happens. Addison's disease with your adrenal glands. If you have celiac disease, you have an increased percentage of these other diseases. A 6% increase in that. Arthritis can be up to 7% because you're not absorbing the calcium. Autoimmune hepatitis, which attacks the liver. Idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy, which is very highly treatable. There's only a 5% increase, but if you know about that, now you know what you can do. Just stop eating gluten. IgA neuropathy, multiple sclerosis is 11%. We hear about that a lot nowadays. Sjögren's syndrome, which is dry eyes and mouth. I have it now because I'm nervous. And Hashimoto's, which is thyroiditis, has a 4 to 6% increase if you have celiac. And so beware of gluten-containing inactive ingredients. There's always those fillers when taking supplements. So read the labels of your vitamins. I have checked all of these out so far. They have checked out good. I've emailed product support because there was a vegetable cellulose. I'm like, what is that? That could be anything. It's all vegetables. So they said, nope, it's not from that, and it's good to go. So here's some more common deficiencies. The fiber and zinc, B12, iron, folate. I think we covered most of these. The vitamin B6 and magnesium, vitamin D. And one of the things that I want to share is that there's good news. It's kind of depressing. I was telling Stephanie while writing this, it's like going back to writing a depressing term paper. I just don't want to go through this and bring it all up. But there are good news. There's a lot of gluten-free choices out there compared to 3 or 4 years ago. And people are becoming sensitive just to healthier diets too. So when you go out, make sure that you look and read labels. That's the biggest thing, reading those labels. Get your magnifying glasses out because they're getting smaller every year. So Whole Foods, Safeway, Rayleigh's in Bel Air, PF Chang's is one of my favorite restaurants. In-N-Out Burger has a protein-style lettuce burger and making it much more friendly. And the next slide is Detox Your Body. So the Spring Clean came out in the spring. I take things slow. I am now in the fall finally finishing up my 30-day Spring Clean. So the Cleanse and Restore Kit really was kind of scary for me to do at first. The Terrazyme really wrecked my gut, and I got sharp pains, and I put it away. I'm like, Stephanie, I can do this. And then the curiosity, something said to try it. So a week later, I took one, and I was running to the bathroom for the next 12 hours. I can't do this. I put it away. And something told me, you need to change. Something needs to change. And so then finally, I was able to start taking them one at a time, and I didn't have the pains. And then I took we all react differently, but there was one of the other things in here that's CRS. I called her, I'm like, I got clients today. I can't be doing this. I need to work. But over time now I can take them, even on an empty stomach. They also have the ginger and the peppermint and the tummy tamer blends in there, so it is easy. Just if you feel like you need a change, this is going to change you. It will change you. So do it a little bit at a time, try it out, see how it works, and now I can take any of those without any symptoms. So it's amazing.
GX too?
Absolutely. In fact, because of the oregano, and I also read the same study with Laura about the fungus in the stomach. I mean, what if it's just a fungus? Oregano kills that. Antifungal. So that's when I kind of, you listen to your tummy, listen to your second brain, and it kind of draws you back to those things. And a lot of people that do the manual muscle testing have not been trained in it, but you hold something, a supplement or a fruit or a vegetable or gluten in your arm, and then they test your strength. And if it's strong and you're good with it, your arm will stay up, and if you're not, there's no strength at all. So some people do that, but listen to your gut and just kind of, when you reach for those things, you're going to go, oh, not yet. Oh, yeah. It really is there. So the LLV, the 3-pack is awesome because look at this, all of the, thank you.
Hold on. That's the 3-pack. I'm going to set it right up here for Kenny and his.
That is amazing. Stephanie's like my mom. Take your vitamins. Did you take your vitamins? Okay, I'll take my vitamins. But seriously, fill in those blocks in your diet, fill in those gaps and those holes, and just start doing it. You're going to notice a difference. So here's the food nutrient. All of those things are in here, the calcium, all those things that I listed before that people become deficient in because they aren't absorbing it right. Once you get everything cleaned up and straightened out, you're going to be absorbing all those things you're deficient in, the iron, calcium, magnesium, folate, zinc, niacin, everything in there. And Stephanie's preached this for almost 2 years that I've listened to it. Not until I sat down to write this out, I'm like, oh, I could do one of those little matching puzzles. This is what I'm deficient in, and this is where it's going to fill in the gaps. It just really fits so perfectly. So thank you for being persistent and consistent for us. And the good news is that after treatment with a strict gluten-free diet, most patients' small intestines recover and are able to absorb the nutrients again. So there is hope, and people are getting smarter. Yep. All right. Thank you so much.
Yay! Okay, and so because she does do massages, I'm giving her deep blue. So see, you guys need to go in. Gotta go see her. She could use deep blue. Thank you. Go. Yeah, because it is so much. That is fantastic information. So, and then of course, I know we've been passing out some of the different ones, like the Alpha, and there's obviously the DDR Prime, and some other ones that were in that cleanse are the Zindicrine. There's the Complex. It's got the 14 whole food in their extract, and then there's the oil part of it, the Zindicrine oil. Does anybody take that Zindicrine as well? Anybody do that? Yeah, I know I do. I kid you not, I don't go without taking this one now. I take 1 or 2 a day. I can tell the difference when I don't take this. So as crazy as it sounds, I used to kind of ignore it, like, yeah, whatever. And then I thought, I'm going to take this. Then I started to see results with it. And so I'm like, and the way I say seeing results is I always ask myself, do I feel better? And that's the other thing too, because a lot of people will say, oh, I take vitamins. I'm like, great. What kind of vitamins do you take? Oh, Costco. I'm like, yeah, and it's all those fillers you talked about. So again, I would highly recommend that you have a really, really, really good quality because it makes all the difference, And the thing I always say is, okay, if you're taking vitamins, then you should have more energy. You should, not have any of that pain that you might have been experiencing before. The stress, the anxiety, the depression, all these different things that you deal with, and your digestive, you should be feeling better. So it's like if you're not, then you need to stop those vitamins, and I definitely encourage always trying the doTERRA ones. And I grew up on vitamins, so I know vitamins. We took them all the time because my mother worked for a chiropractor. So I'm very familiar with taking vitamins and not seeing any results. So I definitely was very, very happy and very impressed when I took the doTERRA ones. So I would definitely encourage you. So I'm just going to take a quick, I'm going to ask you a quick question here. How, if you're taking the doTERRA vitamins, raise your hand. Okay, so you actually even look younger. You guys look fantastic. So that's great. So I guess the question then would be, is I want to just ask you, because there's quite a few hands that went up, probably about 20 hands or so. Do you, the things I talked about, more energy, feeling better, getting better sleep, inflammation lowered, those kind of things, are you experiencing that from the vitamins? If you are, raise your hand. Those same people with that. Okay, fantastic. So still quite a few hands went up. So definitely, I definitely want to encourage you guys, you know, to try them out and to take them because they're really great as far as foundational. And so is there any other, before we close up, is there any other testimonies that people have? Yes.
I'll tell you about the Zendocrine one. So
Yeah.
my oldest daughter, she has skin issues not all the time anymore, but when she'll have a flare up, we got a puppy at the end of May, and the puppy just loved chewing on her legs. So she had all these wounds on her legs that wouldn't heal. They literally would not close up, and they would just not go away. So we were doing CorrectX, which was a mistake because we can't do anything on her topically. And so we went to her homeopathic doctor, and she said her liver's all messed up. And we killed it with the oils we were using because I was trying to boost her immune system, thinking that would help her wounds. And she said, you killed whatever the virus is that it's in there, but now it's sitting in the liver. So we need to cleanse her liver. So we started the Zendocrine oil, and really within a week, we noticed, oh, there it goes. It's finally scabbing up. It was so amazing. It was really great, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
That's amazing. I will tell you an interesting thing too, is that your liver is actually where you hold your anger. So one of my children has some anger issues, and so I always give him that Zendocrine. Sometimes I'll do the Zendocrine oil, sometimes the complex, but typically the oil. And I have definitely seen a huge difference in how he responds to things. He has come way down. Like he's actually very calm a lot of times. You got something to say, what? We have some more kids, that's fine.
We do. Do you take it does he take it every day?
I do have him take it every day. I will switch it up though. Sometimes I do the Zendocrine complex, sometimes I do the Zendocrine oil. But 9 times out of 10, I'm doing the Zendocrine oil because I find that is the key.
In the gel cap or
In the
just
gel.
the soft gel?
The soft gels.
Okay.
Yeah, the pre-made ones. Along with the omega and the whole food.
Yep.
Yeah. And we both have. We should do a.
We should have a
yes.
class.
We will do one on children that are, or even adults that are hyperactive and need to calm their butts down. I will definitely say vitamins have saved her and me personally, and our children. So we don't strangle our children. So that would be one we'll definitely do because it will make it. There's a lot of people that have friends or their own children or grandchildren or what you name it that are having a lot of hyperactive issues. So we'll deal with that on another one. And so I think that's it. Do we have any comments from Facebook real quick? Because I saw some as I was reading through. So do you want to share some of those? Or I will share one that I read that was from Susan. And Susan, just really quickly, I want to say that if you have acid reflux issues, the Digest Zen, you can take a drop and run it along right here, and that will help release the gas that's trapped in there. Also, frankincense will help with that too. But a lot of times, you can get so bad that you get on medication for it. So one of those people, and I know her testimony, I saw her comment there with Susan, and she was, using just tons of medication to help with her acid reflux, still was having problems. So she also started on the vitamins, and again, they've got frankincense in them, and they've got like all the tummy tamers you mentioned. But what happened is she, slowly went on those, and then before she knew it, she was able to get off of the meds. And that's not the first time I've heard that. I've heard that from several people that deal with like acid reflux. So because again, you've got to get the good stuff in, get the nutrients in to help with your gut. So any other testimonies that were on there that you saw
A question. Someone said, I want.
Go ahead.
I would want a schedule of when you should take all these products if I were to include the cleanse. I'm already taking so many of the products: LLB, DDR Prime, DBPC. I'm not sure what that is. Myotomax, On Guard Plus, Xenocrin. I'm not sure where and when adding the PB and the GX in the day would be best.
Yeah, that's a good question. And maybe our two people that spoke tonight, they'll have some insight as well into that. So be thinking about that for just a second. So, you know, they talk, I don't know about you guys, I take a handful of vitamins now. And I swear I take them every day. People are either just lying to my face or they're being really nice and saying how young I look. I was 44 this week. But I'm like, you know what? I looked at pictures and I did not look as good. And I really don't take care of myself as good as I should. I had a list as I listened to Audrey. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I tend to forget to eat and I go. So thank God for vitamins and I get some supplements in there because I tend to be one of those people that, you know. So what I have noticed is I will definitely say what I do, because it is a lot of supplements that they're talking about. So when I first share with somebody, I never tell them, I take this many to look this good and to feel this great, because I freak everybody out. But I started off with just the, can I grab that for just a second? I started off with just the vitamins. And obviously it helped with inflammation big time. I got rid of a lot of issues I was having. And felt great, and was actually able to get out of bed, because I would have stories of being cramped up and not being able to get out of bed anymore. So this changed my life to have all that energy again and feel good. But I personally take, you know, 2 of each always, and then those omegas I take 4, and then I throw 2 Mitomax in. I personally don't take the DDR Prime, but I know a lot of people do. So that would be one that, you know, you could take a couple of those, and you can spread these out. Unless you're forgetful like me and I just take a handful. But it's probably good to, if you're disciplined, to take them and spread them out a little bit there. Obviously, the On Guard soft gels that they're talking about in this question, On Guard soft gels, you know, those are fantastic because they keep your immune system strong. But these vitamins will help your immune system as well. So I would say a lot of times with that On Guard soft gel, take it when you feel like you're getting run down, or your immune system is going down.
Or you're about to be in a compromised situation.
Yes,
Say
if
like
you're going to be.
Yeah, let's say you're working with kids in a nursery all day or something. And
Yeah, those nasty little kids in the
Yeah,
nursery.
about to be doing
The little bugs, they don't wash their hands.
Exactly.
And they snot and cough, and it's really
We're going to get on an airplane.
Yes, airplanes definitely On Guard soft gels, because you want to make sure you boost up your immunity, because it's got the oregano and the black pepper and the melissa in it. So those would be times to do that. But it is kind of like, how do I take all these vitamins? You know, how many?
The other one was deep blue phenol complex is what she was talking
Well,
about.
there are people in the group. Does anybody take the deep blue phenol complex? Yeah, and you take it along with your alpha as well, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, so
And I take it twice a day.
Twice a day for that deep blue, which helps with inflammation. So if you have, I don't take that one, but because the other one took care of my inflammation. But if you still have a lot of inflammation, then you would want to add on the deep blue phenol complex. You see, again, you have to listen to your body and you have to determine how much you need. And that's always the thing I think we really were hearing from both of you. Listen to your body.
Well, and I would say the other thing is the absorption. Your body can only absorb so much at a time. That's why they recommend, even though Tara said, you need to spread it out throughout the day. That's why you do, say, 2 at breakfast of each, and then you do 2 at lunchtime, and then maybe you do some at dinner. So it just makes sure, because just like we just learned tonight about your cilia, right? You know, it can only handle so much. Your body's going to only be able to handle so much of those nutrients. Otherwise, you're just wasting them.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Just to answer that question, it's my sister. There's a schedule that comes with the Cleanse and Restore kit. So it shows you over 30 days which one of those vitamins to take when. So you're only doing a set of those vitamins for 10 days, and then you're doing another one for 10 days, and then another one. I know she's taking a lot of those already in the Cleanse and Restore, so it's actually just a couple more that she would be taking, and in addition to what she's already doing. But you're not taking all of those vitamins for 30 days. It's just 10 days with this one, 10 days with that one, and then 10 days with the other one. So it's not so overwhelming. It's just a little bit here and there.
The other thing too with that Cleanse and Restore is you can do it quarterly. That's something that's recommended as well.
It's just one more thing for her. She's a teacher. Do not do this when you're teaching. Start it on a holiday break or something.
You don't want to end up in the bathroom.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, that's good. Do either of you, because I know you both take the vitamins, do you have any other thoughts that you want to add in on that? Anything else? We're good?
I will say there are times when I lean towards one more than the other, and that's okay. Your body is needing more supplements during different times of the year too. So it's like if you eat artichokes for 3 days in a row, you're going to be full of artichokes and you're not going to want it. So listen to your body, reach for what you feel like you need, and make sure it's a balanced diet too. This is just filling in the gaps. And
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's excellent. Okay, good. Thank you guys so much. We're going to do our drawing. So real quickly, I want to make sure we're going to do digestion tonight, and then we'll do.
People, I think they still have to turn in their thing.
Oh, turn them in. Okay, let's make sure that we. And thank you guys. Did you find this helpful? Was this something? Did you find? Okay, excellent. Yes. Do you have a testimony, a question?
A statement.
Oh, I like statements. I never can trust a redhead though. So I got two in the back here. Oh gosh.
My brother is a chef.
Yeah.
Has worked in several restaurants and actually owns restaurants. Every restaurant nowadays is very well aware of the celiac and will do gluten-free upon request.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's good to know. It is, and especially because so many people know. Okay, excellent. So here we go. You ready? Okay. Somebody, but I think you're good. I'm not looking. All right, there we go. Let's see who it is. Okay. Oh, Amelia. Is she here?
She is.
Oh, good. Okay, because I was like, she's not in the room, but she is here. She's present. So we're going to make sure she gets that. So excellent. So she's got this. And then next week, we are going to be doing rollerballs. And we are also going to be doing a drawing for another oil. I never know what I'm going to do. So maybe something that brings love, cedarwood or geranium or something. So, okay. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, guys.